Hello and welcome to the Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader Beta. This is going to be the first gameplay video we have out on the channel. There should already be a character creation video which went up just before this. And this is the character that we came out of it with. This is an Imperial Guard commander from a death world, and the reason why we chose it is these are all of the options available which are fully fleshed out. They have all of their features available, they have all their background available, and they were basically the ones that character creation was like, yeah, go for these if you want to see the best content. And that's basically what we want to do as part of this little taster of Rogue Trader. We want to see the best content available. So we're going to be playing a section of the game at the start, which is about 2.5 to 3 hours long. And basically this is a very polished microcosm of what you're going to get as you play through a Rogue Trader. It's going to give you a little bit of using your skills, a little bit of dialogue, a little bit of combat, and it's interesting to see because you can see the foundation upon which the rest of it is going to be built. Now there are still bugs, there are still bits that need to be cleaned up, but having played the alpha, this is a much better introduction to the game and definitely looks a lot more polished and gets me a lot more excited for playing the full game when it releases, which is of course the plan and the reason why we're not going too much further into the game after that 3-hour point, because basically I want to leave all of that to discover when we come to the game for real. So, let us jump in and see how the game plays. An excellent place for contemplation. The man who has approached you is gazing down into the depths of the vast temple on one of the lower decks. One has the best view of the cathedral from here. Mesmerizing, wouldn't you say? An impeccable manifestation of the God Emperor's sublimity. So immediately we're seeing something that we're going to need a lot during this playthrough, which is an explanation of what exactly is going on in the world. I have a base understanding of 40k. I know a lot of the major players, so I got who the God Emperor is, but for anyone else who doesn't, we're going to read through all of these, and I'm sure at some point, very soon, we're going to get into just the layer underneath that where I have absolutely no idea. So, God Emperor, the ruler of the Imperium and savior of all mankind. Okay. So, let's see, how are we going to go for this here? Choices in dialogue. Oh, a tutorial. You're in a dialogue. Here you can learn more about the current events of the game, change the attitude of the interlocutor, or decide the fate of entire planets. What will happen in this world depends on the lines you choose. To select a reply, click the reply. Got it. Okay. Well, how are we going to play this? Let's ask who he is. Let's move on from the site and see, whether he'll give us a little bit of information. Allow me to introduce myself. Conrad Voigtver, Master of Whisperers in the employ of Her Ladyship, Rogue Trader, Theodora von Valencius, at your service. I haven't had the pleasure of speaking with you in person before. Voigtver bows his head and focuses his attention on you. So, hyperlinks is basically telling you what I just told you. So, basically you can hover over things and it'll tell you about them. So, Rogue Trader. An Imperial subject with a unique hereditary title. A Rogue Trader is tasked with exploring and exploiting the still uncharted regions of the galaxy for the benefit of mankind. Okay. So how are we going to introduce ourselves? Are we going to be casual? Are we going to be very formal? Or are we going to be a bit, rough with them? Let's be casual. My name is Calder. My regards. Calder. Voigtver looks you up and down and with a thin smile. Or should I say, Calder von Valencius, scion of a blessed Rogue Trader house in the service of the Imperium. Perhaps this kinship came as a shock to you, understandably so, given that all evidence to the connection was lost in the generation separating you and Lord Captain Theodora. It required no small effort on the part of Her Ladyship's servants to discover and verify this blood tie, which has now made you one of the heirs of this dynasty. Okay, so we didn't know we were a member of this dynasty. We went and lived a life, and she has basically found us and gone, no, actually you're one of my heirs, now you're going to be a rogue trader. Okay, interesting. Also, what's interesting is that she has to go and look for heirs. That would imply that there were very few options if she's finding someone as far as us. Anyway, Imperium. Imperium of Man, the galaxy-spanning interstellar human empire ruled by the living god who is known as the Emperor of Mankind. We've already been through this. Okay, well we've got a lot of stuff to say right now. You say I'm one of the rogue trader's heirs and there is another candidate. Okay, interesting. Lord Captain, what a strange title for the Lady Theodora. We should do a little bit about this. Let's say it's a strange title for the Lady Theodora. Such are the traditions of the Imperium. Lord Captain is the title that was established in the annals of the Lex Imperialis at the time when the first rogue traders entered the God Emperor's service, and therefore it is sacrosanct. Okay, so it's the name for a rogue trader. Lex Imperialis is the codex of imperial laws. Okay, well that makes a level of sense. You have a curious title, Master of Whisperers. What are your responsibilities? To put it plainly, I am the head of the network of spies and informers who serve the interests of House von Valancius. I uncover weak links both among Lady Theodora's retinue and in the ranks of her rivals. I eliminate her vulnerabilities and exploit those of others. Fair enough. You say I'm one of the rogue trader's heirs and there is another candidate. Voigtver shrugs slightly. There are, and you will meet them soon enough. Okay, tell me about the one whose ship I have found myself. I would rather not discuss the Lord Captain behind her back, especially not on board her ship. No one knows better than I that whispers are wont to attract particularly close attention. Voigtver laughs and shakes his head. Suffice it to say that her ladyship is the bearer of the sacred warrant of trade, and a woman of immense power and entitlement. However privileged your position may be, I ask that you do not incur her anger by being disrespectful or obtuse. Lady Theodora despises both qualities. Okay, the warrant of trade? The sacred imperial relic document that affirms the preeminent rights of a rogue trader throughout the galaxy. You have the warrant of trade, you are a rogue trader, you're a Lord Captain, all the things that go with it. Got it. Why am I aboard this vessel? Why have I been brought here? So that you may fulfill your blood duty, Calder. Whatever obligations you had before, they are henceforth null and void. By order of the Lord Captain, you have been requisitioned to serve the rogue trader in deeds blessed by the God Emperor. I see that you are shocked. Yes, you understood correctly. Lady Theodora's authority indeed supersedes that of those whom you obeyed before. The Lord Captain's power is so great that she is capable of performing unthinkable feats, such as changing the fate of a servant of the Imperium. Your fate. Okay, so we were brought here not told why, and apparently we're going to inherit the Rogue Trader dynasty. Okay, cool. I assume that you had some goal in mind when you decided to seek me out. Let us address it. But of course, I have come to invite you to a meeting with Lady Theodora. I imagine you have many questions for your patroness, and I'm sure she has just as many questions for you. It is regrettable that you haven't yet had the opportunity to speak. It has been an arduous journey thus far. The Lord Captain and Master Edelthrad von Valancius are conversing on the observation platform located in one of the wings of the officer's deck. Let us join them there. I shall accompany you. So I would guess that Master Edelthrad is probably one of the other heirs, right? That would make sense. Now we have our character and our journal. And the ability to move, as the game's telling us here. Rogue Trader Theodora von Valancius desires to personally meet with the person recently brought aboard her flagship. The storm is brewing over the dynasty, so the Lord Captain has something important to share with her heir, if she'll ever get that chance. That was a little bit ominous. Kunrad Voigtver, the Master of Whisperers, serving the von Valancius dynasty, has graciously offered to escort the dynasty heir to Lord Captain Theodora. We also have 2 other categories here, which are quests, rumors, and orders. Don't know what the other 2 are yet, but I'm very familiar with quests. And then here's our map. Okay, well, I guess we'll just follow him for just now. This seems fine. Right. Ooh. Interactable objects. Some objects in the game can be interacted with. Nice. Okay. So, let us interact with some of them. How about this? A massive conference table, obviously crafted from real wood, a resource of incredible value aboard a void ship. Also, you can see here, it pops this little thing out. If we click this button, we then get a full log that we can split into different things. Like we can say we want combat log, dialogue log, event log, all sorts of very cool stuff. But as a default, it will just pop out when something immediately happens that adds to it. Okay. Incomprehensible information is displayed on a large screen above the cogitators. You can make out mentions of unfamiliar systems and worlds among the numbers and logisticar symbols. And I can press buttons, which changes what's up here, but I don't believe it actually changes. Yeah, it doesn't change this at all. It just allows you to see different things up here. Let's click it again. Let's click this one. Aha. We have some bar charts. Yes, very good. Carry on. Carry on. Anything over here? I don't think there's a lot in this area. No. Okay, so we'll move on. Right. So there's Kunrad. What have we got over here? Candlelit altar with a copy of the 2348th volume of the Lex Imperialis, Codex of the Sacred Laws of the Imperium. Yes, laws are very easy to follow when you're on the 2000th version of them. But I suppose, you know, the Imperium has lasted a long time. So that's fine. Right. And now it is time for us to head in and see this person who has summoned us here. Master of Whisperers, it's an emergency. The esteemed Lord Captain's pet has broken the bolts of its cage and escaped. Well, that's definitely not good. Blast it. Watch out, Calder. Okay. So, journal. Kill the rogue trader's pet. A wild xenobeast held in the cage for amusement has escaped. The rampaging creature needs to be stopped. Alright. So, start the battle. Okay. So it hits. That's fine. Is less fine. It's looking less and less fine the more it goes on here. Okay, he's used his weapon, our weapons on us. Okay, all battles in the game are turn-based. Cool. There are 2 different types of things. We have movement points, which determines how far you can move, and we have ability points, which determines how many abilities you can do. Okay, so this is movement on the left. This is abilities on the right. You have to do movement before abilities if you want to move. Otherwise, you will not be able to move. Like, you cannot shoot, then move. You have to move, then shoot. It's maybe a little bit of an odd point to make, but it is very easy to be caught out by it if you don't do it. Right, so let's just have a look at our log here before we do anything. So what did he do to us? The target of this ability gains plus 10 to ballistic skill for 1 round. Great. Okay, well that's what we're going to need to shoot it. We have our weapon on. This is the only weapon we have. So I think what we do is we move, we let this thing come in, attack these 2, and we just shoot it. Now, you might be thinking, oh, you could go over to one of the sides and shoot it. No, because if we go to shoot, you can see here, I'm just hovering on this guy. You see the red boxes on the other side of that guy? This is where the bullets would go. If it hit him, it can then travel further. Even if you're just shooting in a general direction, the bullet spread can actually spread to other people who are in that rough area if you miss by a large enough amount. So it is a little bit of a worry. So if we moved over to one of the sides, this guy would then be in danger. If we moved to the other side, this guy would be in danger of us accidentally shooting. So ideally, we might want to just move over a little and just get a clean shot on them. Anyway, one thing I also want to do is I want to use inspect if I can. There we go. So, what's it got? So it's injured, it's in a frenzy, receives bonus movement points and additional attack per turn. That explains why it attacked twice. And yes, it's got passive abilities. This is what we saw activate. So this gives it additional movement points and additional attack. Okay, so passive ability is Frenzy, maybe, unless it also gets an additional attack, which would be very bad. And it's got 70 wounds, which are basically its hit points. Okay. Well, let's take a slight move to the side. What else do we have? We've combined arms. Okay. So, we can, in theory, buff people. If we were to get near, like, this guy, we could buff him on the next turn and then start shooting. That might be a good idea. Let's move over here. How much does it cost? 1 AP. Yes, so that's telling us we can use single shot to shoot. That's fine. So let's use combined arms. Start with that. We're going to use shot on the run, which would give us extra movement, but we're not using it for that. We're actually using it for the additional attack. That's okay. I got it there. Use this for the additional attack. And then we're going to do 2 shots, which both cost 1 AP. I'm going to shoot this thing. So, 40% chance of hitting. Let's go. We hit. Wonderful. It's a good start. Do it again. We missed. Less good. Okay. And that is our turn. Yes. Cool. It was just telling us about characters missing. We're very aware of that. Right. End turn. So, our ally takes a shot. Missed. Our other ally takes a shot. Hey, he hit. That's nice. It now walks up, destroys one. I'm assuming it's going to turn around and destroy the other. Nope, it didn't have enough movement to reach. Okay. I'm going to use running gun again to give us a shot on the run to give us another attack. I'm going to start shooting. Now, you will notice down here we do have a limited amount of ammo. When we have our 6 shots, then we're going to have to reload. But in theory, it won't take that long. That was a 75% chance. We missed 85% chance. We hit. Wonderful. Would be nice if this guy could actually shoot the enemy, but whatever. Bridgeguard will, right?
Death to the heretics!
It's a good shout. Appreciate it. Very classic, but, you know, you're still dead. Oh, we have 2 shots. Let's do this. And let's take our 2 shots. We got him! Wonderful. I can scarcely believe it on a day like this. What suspiciously poor timing for such an accident. A wild beast breaks free on the officer's deck at exactly the same moment when the rogue trader and her heirs are gathered here. Without taking his eyes off the dead beast, Voigtvir removes the Voxcaster from his belt and speaks a few quick orders into the device. He then turns to you. Voxcaster? A piece of technology used to communicate over short distances or to record sound. I have blocked all passages between the upper and lower sections of the residential decks. If this is a deliberate attack, it should stop the culprits from advancing their plan. Oh, okay. Hello. Spread out, no one is allowed to enter the premises. Stations. At your service, Master Voigtvir. The lines on Voigtvir's forehead soften and his voice regains its usual courtesy. I'm afraid I must remain here, Calder. For Lady Theodora's safety, I have to oversee the execution of these orders personally. I hope you will have no difficulty reaching the observation platform on your own. It is just at the end of this corridor. The Master of Whisperers gives you a curt bow. Alright, we shall leave him. And now it's told us about our journal, which we're very aware of. We can definitely access our journal. The journal says, go and talk to the lady. Alright, I got it. There's no loot here. No, but there are things to click on. Okay, that's definitely good. Do we have anything in our inventory? Absolutely not. Okay, cool. What's this? A violet alloy, which upon closer examination turns out to be a crafted object. Symbols carved with a primitive tool are visible on the surface. A black shard that resembles obsidian. If you look closely, you can discern a strange, barely perceptible glow inside the artifact. Seeing, yeah, so we have to go to a door to actually move forward. I'm just checking I'm not walking too far in to see all this. A massive golden amalgam interspersed with sparkling particles. Okay. Shiny rocks. A stone on the pedestal is no doubt solid, but its surface shimmers and changes hue as if someone has captured a piece of the choppy sea. A strange object that resembles a pelagic coral. The porous surface is pitted, a sign that it's been underwater. And the last one, what do we have? A grey-green crystal with white veins. A low hum can be heard coming from the artifact. Okay, so nothing major. And then we have the other beasts, which are still very much in their cages. A huge beast roars at your approach. The tentacles in its mouth begin to move, oozing muddy saliva from the numerous pores. This one the same? The cage from which Theodora's pets escaped shows no obvious signs of damage. The cause of the creature's escape remains a mystery to you. Okay. Interesting. Anything else up here? Oh, can I speak to you? Erase, do not worry. All threats have been eliminated. It's absolutely safe here. I'm the one who eliminated the threat. Of course it's safe. Let's go. And we shall progress. Also, I was like, we shall quick save, but then I didn't remember I don't know the button. Give me a second. It is, of course, F5. There we go. Little quick save. And now we shall continue exploring. What have we got over here? Oh! A cool image. Alright. Definitely not against a cool image. The Grand Voidship Temple occupies the entire space below the officer's deck and is lit by countless candles and lumens. So I think where we need to go is over here somewhere. So I'm deliberately going to avoid going over there. And we're just going to explore some more. See what's going on. There might be nothing, but, you know, just had a cool little thing we saw there. What have we got here? Ah, another view of the ship. Okay. So this is the inner workings of it. Bowels. Or what looks to be a lift. The lifts carrying people around the decks move with loud grinding noises. I was thinking it might be engines or something, and I'm like, nah, it's just a lift. Okay. Can't go that way. Well, I'll go over here. Hello. As you approach, something in the servitor's body begins to hum as if in response to your presence. After a couple of seconds, the noise subsides. Okay. What have we got over here? Not a lot. Okay. So we have this section there. I'm just seeing we then have... Oh, this is all one section anyway. Okay, so this is the only place we can go. It's the only thing with anything interesting in it. Let's go have a look. So what is this? Oh, there's the people. So what's this thing? Never mind. We're in a conversation. That is simply irrational, Lady Theodora, says the man dressed in peculiar garb, his voice tight with tension. His face, half of which is covered by synth skin, is twisted in a grimace of displeasure and disbelief. So, Edelthrad is the person we think might be competing with us to be the next heir. Assimilation into the trade structure would be political and economic suicide, practically an admission of heresy. The tall, grey-haired woman pins him with her gaze, her cybernetic eye flashing crimson. Then suggest an alternative that will satisfy me. I have described the situation, no worse than my seneschal could have done. Make a decision. What will you do with Ion 6, Edelthrad? Let's survey the room. Your first impression of Edelthrad, who appears to be about 30 years old, is of a parchment-like skin stretched over a tightly bundled mass of sinew, implants and bone. Implants? A mechanical or electronic cybernetic substitute for biological limbs or organs. The nervously twitching fingers, the face twisted by a slight tic, and the jerky movements are all signs of some illness or defect that has taken over his physical form. Oh, maybe Edelthrad isn't the next heir. Maybe Edelthrad is the reason why she needs to find a new heir. Maybe this was going to be her heir. He's got an illness, and now suddenly she's like, ah, I need a spare. Okay. In stark contrast to Edelthrad, Theodora von Valencia's features appear as if they were carved from marble, eternal and indestructible. Head raised high, proud posture, hands clasped casually behind her back. Everything seems to emphasize the difference in status between her and Adelthrad. Behind the two of them, you see two more men. One is a grey-haired officer of impeccable bearing who is studying the contents of his data slate. The other is a behemoth, bristling with holsters and baldricks containing all manner of weapons. So, a data slate, an electronic digital storage device similar to a tablet computer. Okay. Our second candidate has joined us. Okay, so he's definitely a candidate. Got it. The dry female voice and the powerful feeling of being watched force you to look at Theodora. The rogue trader is looking straight at you, and her gaze, like herself, is predatory and oppressive. Calder, approach and give me your answer. Okay, passive skill checks. Characters' skills reflect their current level of knowledge and abilities. Sometimes you can get additional information and dialogue if a passive skill check was successful. Skill checks use the character from the party with the highest value of the applicable attribute. Okay. Consider this hypothetical situation. Ion 6, a new world on the fringes of the Koronus Expanse. High seismic activity, regular magma eruptions, metamorphic rock deposits, prospects for large-scale mining. The world is populated by natives who worship some heretical underworld spirits that protect those who offer them sacrifices. Flights of fancy, you might say. Attempts to install ore extractors have failed for the second time. The mining crews sent to the planet's surface simply vanished overnight. My question to you is, what would you do with this poisoned treasure? I guess you would have to find who the spirits are and kind of deal with them. Let's see what our options are. Those spirits could well be the natives' name for dangerous aliens. Okay. There are ways to confirm whether what's happening on Ion 6 is witchcraft or not. It may cost several psychers to do, but it will give us the answer. I have some connections. Some Imperial Guard regiments would take care of the natives, their spirits, and the magma. The reports of spirits certainly sounds like evidence of heresy, however I would put my interests first. Must be purged for the good of the for the good of the Imperium. Well, let's use one of our lore checks. Okay. Let's do this one. The spirits could well be the natives' name for dangerous aliens. I would first verify if that is indeed the case and if the population of Ion 6 engages in xeno worship. Theodora arches an eyebrow. Reasonable and prudent. However, chasing after ethereal creatures may prove a rather long and fruitless endeavor. Adelthrad scoffs. Apart from Xenos, an untrodden planet might be teeming with myriad horrors that are far more dangerous and difficult to eradicate. I suspect that you, Calder, are simply unaware of their existence. Xenos, a term used within the Imperium to refer to aliens. Okay. I gave a straight answer to a simple question, and try and put him down. We are both servants of the God Emperor and Lady Theodora. We're kissing ass. I find your tone most disagreeable. You will kindly alter the manner in which you address me, or else you will live to regret the consequences, or shut your mouth before I decide to shut it for you. Let's just say it was a straight answer to a simple question. We're going to appear to be the reasonable one here. Let's see what he says. The colour drains from Adelthrad's face, which distorts his features further. Insolent, arrogant upstart, how dare you? Adelthrad? Theodora's tone renders him silent. I believe I gave you an assignment on this ship. Explain to me, then, why my senior congregator is still dawdling about the officer's deck instead of proceeding to the middle decks to commence the inspection of the compartments in his purview. I beg your forgiveness, Lady Theodora. Your presence has such a profound effect on me that I well forgot the time. Adelthrad bows ceremoniously and takes his leave without sparing you another look. Okay. Fair enough. Theodora's gaze follows him as he leaves. Then she turns to you. So, Calder, why are you here? Well, that's a good question. I mean, you did call me here, so I would expect you to know the answer, but Let's just say I do not know just yet. I hope you will clarify that. Theodora smiles wryly. Clarity. A luxury that few of us can afford. There is a reason why I did not explain all the details of the question I posed to you earlier. Beyond the borders of the Imperium, seldom is one granted an opportunity to enjoy information in abundance. This, however, is one such opportunity. My name is Theodora von Valencius Massimo af Scaras. I am a rogue trader in service to the God Emperor of humanity, and my rights and freedoms are vindicated by a most sacred relic, the warrant of trade, kept aboard this very vessel. Mine is the honor to venture into the darkness beyond the Imperium, and carry humanity's light where powers wicked and heretical reign and bow death and ruin to us all. It is my decision alone to determine the fate of whatever I find past the bounds of the explored void. Every world I discover, along with all there is to find thereon, resources, people, riches, and mysteries, is mine by right. I command millions of lives, rule over numerous planets, and possess fortunes that no planetary governor or commander could dream of amassing. And you, Calder, are one of those with the von Valencius blood in their veins, and a rightful claim to this inheritance when the hour comes. Okay, so I think that option number 1 is a little bit too presumptuous. It's a little bit like we've already got the job. Option number 2 is too sudden for me. That's a little bit, that's going to be seen as cowardice. I think option number 3 is the one that she'd like. It's the inquisitive option. It's the one that shows that our mind is still working. One of? Does that mean there are other heirs? Naturally. Some have yet to arrive on board, but you've had the pleasure of meeting one of them. Idlethrad may be somewhat disconcerted by the scale of the responsibilities that may potentially fall upon his shoulders. However, I have a good feeling about him as a candidate. Blood right alone is not enough to earn the high honor of becoming the bearer of a warrant of trade. Nonetheless, your abilities and talents may yet prove useful, if not for the role of Lord Captain, then for that of their closest ally. Theodora sighs and looks away pensively for a brief moment. Alas, even those responsibilities can at times be too challenging for those who share your blood. Kunrad Voigtvir served me for many years before he made his mistake. Okay. Wait a second. Served me for many years before he made his mistake. Interesting. But also, that explains why she's collecting people who are related to her. Because she's basically going, okay, well, I need an heir, but also traditionally we need people to fill all these other roles. It might as well be the other heirs. If somebody randomly drops dead, then you've got somebody of the same blood nearby who can take on the role, like at a moment's notice. It all makes a level of sense. Okay. So, I want to get more into this. Did I hear right? The Master of Whisperers is related to? His kinship to me is most distant, as is yours. Nonetheless, he does bear the name von Valencius, even if he avoids using it publicly, and as such, strictly speaking, he can be considered my heir. That door, however, is closed to him. Voigtvir's performance in his current role is satisfactory. Or it used to be, at least. Again. We're not allowed to ask any questions on that? I'm assuming we'll find out soon enough. Okay. If you're satisfied with Idlethrad, then what sense is there in having this conversation? Why are you wasting your time on me? Theodora shakes her head. Impatience. I'm rather fond of impatient people. They are not as quick to resign themselves to circumstances, more eager to show initiative. Even if I do choose Idlethrad as my successor, I will still require loyal advisors. The skills and knowledge you acquired in your former life may prove invaluable here in the Koronus Expanse. Service in the Astra Militarum is a trial from which very few people emerge with their life. Astra Militarum, the primary combat force and first line of defense of the Imperium, also known as the Imperial Guard. Our background is Imperial Guard Commander, effectively. That you have risen through the ranks of the Imperial Guard and assumed command of an army is testament to your astuteness both on the battlefield and in the tangled net of officer intrigues. I assure you, the company that a rogue trader keeps will offer you plenty of chances to demonstrate both your diplomatic skills and your combat prowess. Well, thank you for clarifying. May I ask my questions now? I'm not going to say one or two, for the reasons we said earlier. The vox affixed to Theodora's attire suddenly comes to life, but all you can hear is unintelligible noise. Theodora winces, shuts off transmission, and gives you an imperious nod. I have some time before the navigator gives the signal to initiate the void ship's translation out of the warp, and my presence is required on the bridge. Navigator? A sanctioned noble mutant whose genes allow them to safely guide warp-capable void ship through the warp. The warp. An alternate dimension of pure energy and madness existing as a mirror to real space, also known as the Imperium, the Imperium, the Aether, the Sea of Souls, or warp space. Okay. Let's see what we can say. Let's just ask the same question. Navigator, translation, what are these things that you speak of? Obviously we know about them, but let's ask again, I guess? Theodora shakes her head. Sometimes I forget that people without direct access to a ship's bridge may not know the first thing about how a void ship travels between the stars. Vessels such as this one are capable of leaving real space and traversing into the warp, an otherworldly dimension of cruel and unthinkable forces. By entering it under the protection of the Geller field, we shorten the route to our destination, crossing distances that would require hundreds of years in a matter of weeks instead. Sometimes even in days or even hours. That is how humanity spread across the galaxy. That is how we were able to build the Imperium, which spans millions of stars. Okay. An incident took place on the officer's deck. A wild beast was roaming free and attacking anyone it ran into. Is that so? I do keep a number of pets native to one of my planets on the officer's deck. Perhaps someone was careless during feeding time. Or it could be the warp playing tricks on us in spite of the Geller field. Or perhaps our possessed ship was in the mood for a lark. Theodora laughs nonchalantly. The grey-haired officer gives the rogue trader a look of cautious disapproval. Lady Theodora, for the God Emperor's sake, surely you do not intend to start repeating idle rumours spread about by uneducated riffraff. Enough, Abelard. Such heresy amuses me. Idira eagerly retells me everything she learns from the whisperers of her unseen advisors. She turns to you. This ship is thousands of years old. It has had enough hidden nukes, malfunctioning cogitators, and unused compartments to make ignorant folk speak of spectres dwelling within the bulkheads and plotting against those who yet live. Cogitators. Any type of digital computer in the Imperium of man. Okay. Where's your ship headed? The Rykad system, the domain of rogue trader Winterscale, one of my peers and rivals. Well, only 3 rogue traders exist in the Koronus Expanse, and each of them possesses resources comparable to mine. Perhaps you will one day assist House von Valencius in surpassing both of them in affluence and splendor. So I believe, I might be wrong, but at the very least this rogue trader, but I think this system is where the Alpha took place, so that's the connection to the Alpha, and it gives you a rough idea of how far forward in the story is. So the Alpha kind of started after all of these events. So, the Koronus Expanse? A scattered, poorly explored region on the frontier of the Imperium, full of fearsome Xenos, treasure, heathen worlds, and the echoes of ancient doom. I set the course for Rykad on the demand. Theodora grimaces. She gives you a stern look, then shrugs. For a very specific reason. Perhaps I shall yet apprise you of the purpose of this voyage, but now is not the time. What are my current responsibilities? Observe, learn, absorb. It will take time for you to find your bearings aboard this vessel, and in your new position. Eventually I'll find a post that suits you as I did for Edelthrad. Until that time comes, consider yourself my aide. I'm not going to say 3. We're not going to kiss ass. right? This is too much. I have no more questions. In that case, I shall head to... Theodora's Vox awakens once more. This time you pick up shouting. The Lord Captain freezes, listening to the Vox cast, and nods and draws her weapon. Disturbances reported on the adjacent decks. Seneschal, if the need arises, protect the new blood. She glances at you. It is possible that the chance to prove your worth may present itself sooner than you may have anticipated. Oh, very, very soon. Okay. Well, that's a lot of bullets. You have been ambushed. The battle begins. Okay. Let's go to the combat log.
Reduced to dust.
Well, one's dead.
I took care of this
Oh.
one.
Okay, he just killed 3 of them within a second. Mort.
Die!
Alright then. Well, I'm glad they're on my
Pain
side.
and duty go hand in hand.
Okay. Well, a lot of them are dead.
Brace yourself, Abelard.
I believe, by the way, that a lot of these, like, enemies, I think in the first alpha there were complaints that they were attacking, like, too slowly. It was taking too long to go between their turns. I believe they've made some adjustments to it, like making them all act in kind of clumps to reduce times. So we'll see how that works. Okay. If we hide behind cover, we get bonuses. What that's telling us. Well, there is cover right here. This would seem like a sensible place to hide, but... yeah, actually, this seems like a sensible place to hide. Let's go here. Of course, we're not hiding. We're just tactically retreating for now. Can I take this shot? Sure, let's take it. Let's see if we get it. Good, good. Well, let's take another shot. We use our shot on the run. Let's take another shot. It's only 36% chance, but we might as well take our shots and then live out the rest of our days behind the cover. Really, we don't need to do an awful lot. I get the feeling our party members may kill them all. We should check what kill them all does if she casts it again as well. I was going to check that originally, and then I didn't. Basically.
This'll leave a scar!
She didn't. She just shot one with a plasma weapon. Well, that would work.
One fewer target.
Well, that's one dead. Oh, okay, and he's next to the next one who wants to kill. 2 more dead. My God, they're getting destroyed. I gotta say, I played this in my test run. It went well. I gotta say, did not go quite as quickly as this. Now, if I shoot at this guy, I think that means that Mort is in danger, just given positioning. Try to figure out if there's a better place to be. Probably not, actually. Yeah. Oh well. I'm gonna shoot him. Don't get shot, Mort. Okay, that was probably the best thing that could have happened. Your character's received a positive effect from a companion. Cool. We got a buff. Oh, he gets an attack of opportunity, which is really not good for them because, well, there aren't that many of them left.
Reduced to dust.
Okay, more.
Get to the heretics.
Yeah, they're all dead. All right then. Well, that was quick. Theodora waves her hand in a commanding gesture. Mort, take a team with you and clear a path to the transport line. Do not let a single horseman survive. The rogue trader turns her eyes to you. Didn't bat an eye when that scum burst onto the deck, Not bad. I've seen many an officer who panicked at the sight of combat on the upper decks. The false sense of security makes them much more susceptible to the harsh realities of warp transitions. She looks at the Vox in her hand. All you can hear is lifeless static. You know what? We're in the Imperial Guard. We're under attack. What are your orders? She breaks eye contact with you. Mort has gone on ahead to clear a path for us. If you want to make yourself useful, go after him and see if the arch-militant requires aid. And be quick about it. Okay, we will do. So, go and help Mort. That's fine. The officer hasn't returned yet. What, you mean like the 10 seconds since he left? Ooh, dialogue. I'm concerned about disrupted communication with the navigator's chambers. We should have already approached the translation point, proceeded to real space. Once we are done with the riot, I want to look at the logisticar's reports. We need to understand what happened on the decks during the warp jump and preparations preceding it. Okay, I'm going to let that play out a little bit. Yeah, I don't think there's another line. That's fine. Also don't think there's any loot. Okay. Ooh, I have a tool that will allow me to check the status of distant compartments that are out of Vox contact, but we have to wait for Mort's results first. Okay, so go find Mort. Well, before we go and find Mort, what I would like to do is I'd like to end the episode there. Thank you very much for watching. Next time, we're going to go find Mort, and we're going to continue with Rogue Trader. So, as this is the first episode of a little mini look at Rogue Trader, I would really appreciate it if you'd like, comment, subscribe, all of that sort of nice stuff, because it really helps with search ranking, and it really helps the series and channel grow and all of that sort of good stuff. I'd also like to say at the end of this episode, a huge thank you to Owlcat Games for providing me an early beta access key for this game, which has allowed me to have a little bit of a preparation for this and to give you a little better view into how this game is playing out. So, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.